Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at my home server and doing some tweaking to the cable management inside it, as at the moment it is a complete and utter mess. It's a 4U server in the Easy Store 15 case. Inside the case I've got 8 hard drives with a total of 40 terabytes capacity. And as you can see, the cables for powering them all, data cables, are just all over the place, and the SSD isn't even mounted in there properly. It's just resting up against another cable. So this all needs to be tidied up, cleaned up, sorted out, and rerun nice and neatly. The first thing to do is to strip everything out of the case. So take all the old cables, take everything out, so basically start with a bare system as much as possible, including removing all of the hard drives. First of all, I tried to just turn the hard drives around and see if that would work, but doing this means that I'd actually lose 2 bays worth of capacity. So instead of having 15 drives, I can only store 13. So I needed to completely take out the hard drive cage and rotate it 90 degrees, which will leave a few problems, as we'll see later on. In order to take the cage out, there are 4 screws either side which hold the bracket in place, but also need to remove the front of the case in order to slide this out. The first issue with turning the hard drive cage around, as you can see, is the power for the fans at the back of the hard drive cage is now on the top. This can't stay here as it prevents the lid of the case from closing. So what I needed to do was flip all of the fans around so they are facing the other way, as they all have quick release mechanisms on them. This will allow the fans to be changed very quickly just in case they die or I just want to replace them with different fans. The power for the fans does not fit on the other side of this case, so I needed to put it inside the motherboard tray. Now this is all flipped over, can put the hard drive cage back in. However, I have now lost the ability to lift the hard drive cage back up, as it is rotated upside down and it doesn't allow for it to swing this way. However, this isn't a problem, as you can lock it in place. Sliding the hard drives in on this case is very simple. Each hard drive comes with 2 rails, which are plastic rails, and then you just slide the hard drives into the grooves within each cage. And this is very quick, very easy, and keeps the hard drives nicely secure. Moving on to the cable management, we start with the fans that cool the hard drives, plugging them back into the power splitter that can power up to 6 fans at once, and then just using some cable ties just to tidy up the cables so they slide nicely behind the hard drive cage. As this is a ITX motherboard, it does only require a 4-pin CPU power connector, so just running that behind the power supply and then over the top, and then plugging in the 24-pin as well, and then tying it down with a cable tie. The fan power board requires a Molex to power the fans, and to keep this cable out of the way and nice and clean, I am cable tying this to the 24-pin that's going straight to the motherboard. Then just need to add on a little adapter to my remaining Molex to split that to 3 other Molexes for the Molex to SATA power adapters. The SATA power cables that I've got are quite long with big gaps between each connector, so I haven't put them in sequence. I have left a gap of 1 drive between each one, leaving these smaller loops which I can then tie up to the top of the hard drive cage with cable ties, just keeping them out of the way from dangling down. For the SATA cables going to the HBA card, just using again cable ties to tidy these cables up, get them a bit cleaner, a bit closer to the SATA power, and then again tying them to the bottom of the hard drive cage where available, so they are nice clean runs. And also for the one on the right hand side, tying it to the bottom of the case with a cable tie, allowing it to sit nicely. With all of the cables now anchored down apart from the rear exhaust fans, the SSD slides nicely in below the 24-pin ATX power cable and is held securely in place. And then running the SATA cable along the side of the power supply and then across the motherboard to keep it out of the way, and then powering the 2 exhaust fans, wrap the cable around the power supply and back under to the bottom of the motherboard. Thanks for watching, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.